Oh my god, there's been so many cool leaks for Tarkir Dragonstorm. There's been so many new dragons revealed, there's been some insane looking planeswalkers that's been revealed, and some enchantments that go crazy in pretty much any dragon deck, and some even in kinda anything. It's looking like this set is going to be extremely powerful if you play any of these color combos. Let's start with one of the enchantments. It's a mono red dragon enchantment, dragon themed enchantment at least. It's 6 generic and then red for an enchantment that says you may cast dragon spells without paying their mana cost. So it's literally an omniscience for dragons. And yes, it's expensive to cast, but if you're playing dragons, you're going to be casting really expensive creature spells anyways. So this isn't that big of a deal. Yes, it might come down on like a turn 5, turn 6 kind of thing, but boy will it bring more stuff with it when it does. If you're playing a 5-color dragon deck, you would have this and omniscience in it, and now it's like twice as likely that you would be casting insane dragon spells for free. I mean, this is incredible. This is pretty wild. United Battlefront for 3 and 1 white. You have a sorcery that allows you to look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 non-creature, non-land permanents with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And I can see a lot of decks being Enchantress decks or Voltron decks, for example, love this card. And if you have Underworld Breach or something similar and you have a lot of stuff in your graveyard, this would be a thing that you could do over and over again to get a lot of value out really quickly. And then we have another cool enchantment for 2 and 1 white. When this enchantment enters, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. So it's kind of a removal spell that's conditioned based on how long this will stay, which I think is kind of a cool restraint, especially seeing that this is a common. So a lot of people will be able to play this. I kind of think this will be really good in sealed. This might be a card to look out for in draft. I know for a fact that during the pre-release, I will be going for the Mardu box, so this would be very good for me. And then among the special guests, there are a borderless version and amazing art being printed for all the Ultimatum. So Airy Ultimatum, Emergent Ultimatum, Genesis Ultimatum, Inspired Ultimatum, and Ruinous Ultimatum, which are all in the colors of the clans. This is a perfect group of cards to put on the special guests for this, especially with how much effort has gone into the art of this. Some incredible looking full art lands as well. We're looking at a dragon's eye. The land's mana symbol is reflected in the pupil of the dragon, which I think is a really cool way of doing it. I won't be mentioning every single card that's just been revealed or previewed recently because there's just so much. It's so much high power stuff that it's very exciting to see that they're taking universes within seriously as well. One of the more exciting ones for me that I think should be showcased is the Mardu Dragon, which is Nereeve Heart of the Storm. It's a legendary spirit dragon, 4/5, and it costs 1 and Mardu. Got flying, it's a dragon, so should have flying. Imagine this, and then you have Roaming Throne, and then you have those dragons that when they enter, they deal 4 damage or something. And then there's another Mardu character that literally just costs Mardu and is a 3/3. It's an orc warrior named Surgo Stormrender. And what it says is mobilize 1. Whenever this creature attacked, create a tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature token, sacrificing at the beginning of the next end step. That is kind of okay. If you have enter the battlefield effects and if you have exit the battlefield effects in this deck, that will already be valuable as a commander. But he also has, whenever a creature token you control leaves the battlefield, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, each opponent loses 1 life. What? So we have a Mardu commander that makes tokens, and it also conditionally will draw you cards or ping opponents when stuff dies on its own. That is pretty fucking good. This is going in pretty much every Mardu deck, I would guess. If anyone out there is playing Caesar, like my partner is playing Caesar a lot, that's their absolute crown jewel deck. It's so good, and it's very token based, and it's very token sacrifice and entering based as well. So this will go so crazy in that deck. It would do so much work in that deck. Obviously, there are way more, like, these are the faces of the clans and the dragons of the clans, etc. And so this is just the Mardu ones. I think they are the best ones out of the ones I've seen. Taigam Master Opportunist, which is a legendary human monk for 1 and 1 blue, 2/2, that reads Flurry. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it. Then exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. And that means that at the beginning of its owner's upkeep, they remove a time counter, and when the last is removed, you may play it without paying its mana cost. If it's a creature, it has haste. The options for game plans with something like this in the command zone.
Incredible.
This being mono blue is a little bit of a drawback because most of the stuff you would be casting would be interaction to stop someone else from running away with a victory instead of securing you a win con. There's not that many right now win the game kind of stuff in blue other than omniscience, and then you know, you just go off crazy. Or spirits, I guess. I mean, there are ways, of course there are ways to do it in this. That doesn't matter because no matter what you have been casting before, you're gonna get it again, and you're gonna get it again for free in 4 turns. I mean, what? The power level in this set, to me, it seems to be on par with a straight into modern focus set, like a Modern Horizon kind of power level. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this affects standard, since this set isn't directly designed for Commander. So I don't know, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And then of course I was gonna mention it, we have to talk about Ugin. There is no way around it. We're getting a new Ugin. Ugin, Eye of the Storms, for 7 colorless with 7 loyalty, 7/7. Funny. It reads, whenever you cast this spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. That alone would be incredible. That's like a Hullbreaker horror kind of thing. You're hating on multicolored or actually just anything that's not colorless or the void. And then you have his +2, which is you gain 3 life and you draw a card. That again, very good, and it's +2. We're already at 7 and now we're at 9. Okay, cool. Then his +0 is add 3 colorless. And then his -11, which is you just uptick him twice. Search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards. Exile them, then shuffle. Until end of turn, you may cast those without paying their mana cost.
Huh?
I know 7 mana is a lot. This seems very valuable no matter what you play. If you can get one of these out, you have a 3 colorless mana rock on a planeswalker that has 7 loyalty. So taking it down is gonna take a little bit unless you have planeswalker specific removal, which might be a thing because of this, and another planeswalker that we're gonna look at later. In Commander, if you're playing colorless, if you're playing Eldrazi, this is incredible. And if you're playing colorless stuff, you're gonna have so much stack stuff to make people hate you anyways. I'm looking at you, Sydney. I know you're playing colorless. Then we have Elspeth. Elspeth Stormslayer, which is 3 and 2 white, 5 loyalty, and she reads, if 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many tokens are created instead. As if white needed more token doublers, you know? So you can +1 to create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, and then you could do her +0, which is put a +1 counter on each creature you control. Those creature gains flying until end of turn. And then you have -3, which is destroy target creature and opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater. So that's gonna be most threats to you. The -3 is going to be expensive when she comes in with 5, but just using her for the +0 is gonna be absolutely worth the 5 mana it takes to cast this. Without a doubt. If you're playing a Naya token deck, this goes in it. There's just no question about it. This goes in it. I won't be covering the Final Fantasy stuff, although there is one Final Fantasy card, the mono red one, that's apparently a landfall commander in red. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me attempt to build a deck with that, and I'll make a video on that perhaps. Dragonstorm is looking so promising. It's looking like we're going back to real universes within. It looks like the designers actually care. We're getting themes that the OG players will love and themes that new players will also love. It's really exciting to see. I know it's one of the sets that when you see someone talk about it, it's usually with stars in their eyes. And so Wizards' revisit of this should be with this much care, I think. It should be with this much power as well. And so if there is anything I forgot to mention, like I've probably said 500 times by now, let me know in the comments. Those comments help me make new videos and they help me see new perspectives of things because I am just one person. But with that said, that's gonna be it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!